we need to address for the map amendment? If you have do you have the packet with you?
We do.
Okay. If you would look on page 5. That is not the NRI report. You're looking at the NRI report.
So the standards are also up on the screen.
Oh, yeah,
there.
they're up on the screen.
Oh,
That-
okay.
If you just kind of go through them and then just talk about, how your parcel compares like with the zoning around and, we need you to address each of those standards. if
Okay,
you
so
would go-
the compatibility of the proposed zoning with the existing use and zoning of nearby properties. Up and down the road, there is single-family homes that are on E1 zoning, a little over an acre, I believe. That was something that was done many years ago. So if we were able to be E1, so we could do what we want, it's kind of like the same as the neighbors, I mean, across the street from us is a development that's going in. There's going to be a bunch of houses. To the east of us is Stoddy has some land that he grows corn on, But there's quite a few E1 houses between us and Ringwood Road, along that stretch of Macomb.
Okay.
The extent to which property values of the subject property are diminished by the existing zoning. What are they actually asking there? Like, if we change, are we gonna make the property values less or more, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So you think the property values for your property and surrounding properties might go up with this change?
They might go up a little bit just because it would be considered a state. But, from what I've been hearing is that the amount that is taxed is just what the value is of that property. And, it would go up because there would be another house there along the road, and a couple more pieces of property that would be taxable, sure. But, nothing's gonna change with our existing house. I mean, it is what it is, right?
And the next one, so you think the public health, safety, and welfare of the public will be protected with this change, that nothing will be impacted with this change to E1 zoning on your property?
Yeah, I don't think anything would be impacted there. I mean, there would be possibly another family that lives there, so what could change is there's another family that might need an ambulance or something, but, I don't really see anything that's gonna change too much, And as far as safety, another property going in and out on the road and stuff, I mean, we have basically 3 driveways that go onto our property now, and how I would like to split it up so that we could build another house. We're not gonna add another driveway because there's an existing one there already that goes to one of my buildings on that side and where the landscape materials are, so. Actually, if this were to happen and I could build a house there, I'm not gonna have people stopping in and looking at what kind of gravel they might want or mulch because I won't be doing it anymore. So it could lessen traffic along the road and make it safer? It's possible.
Okay, the relative gain to the public as compared to the hardship if your zoning is denied. I mean, there would be no, the question is asking, it'd be a hardship for you if you're not able to build this extra house, as you go into your older years versus, any gain to the public and having it not be residential. You've got residential all around you, right?
Yeah. I mean, if we're not able to do what we want to do, there could be some time where we're going to have to move to a different place, so. And I got too much stuff to move. So, it would be nice to stay right where we're at. That's what I'm kind of, and this way here, we can stay in the house we're in. When we build the house, I don't have to be picking up my tools. I can keep an eye on it, things like that. It would just be easier. Yeah.
And your property is suitable for E1 zoning? The next one.
Yeah, there's enough frontage there to allow for, to be changed to E1.
And the next one, it hasn't been vacant. You've been using it, but the length of time property has been vacant. You've been using it, but in the context of land development in the vicinity of their property, there's development going on around you, right?
Yes. Yeah, like I say, across the street, there's a subdivision. It could be 3,300 homes. They've already started up by 120, And then there's the sewer and water treatment plant across from our property too, so.
Okay, so that kind of demonstrates a community need for E1 zoning too. You're saying that there's a demand for more residential homes than one acre lots.
Yeah, I think that would look attractive to people if we were ever decided to sell.
And then do you know about the 2030 land use plan and what this calls for your property?
I looked at some of that stuff, but I don't know exactly what it is.
Well, it calls for residential, so would you say it's consistent with the 2030 plan? Okay,
Yes.
all right. Well, those are the questions I need to ask you, so at this time I'll turn it over to questions from the board, starting on my left, Ms. Donner.
Yes, when do you want to start building your new house?
Well, actually, we'd like to start, a month ago.
Okay, well, you're so young. Maybe you want to just kind of hang out where you are for a while and make sure you've got everything else taken care of. So that's probably my only question at the moment. Thank you.
Just a couple questions. Were you planning on demolishing your old home?
No. So I wanted to split our property up into 2 or 3 pieces, build our new ranch on the one piece, and then at least everything would be divided up to where maybe one of my daughters would like to move her family into the house she grew up in. Or after we're finished with the new house, maybe we would sell our old house. We haven't really decided what we're gonna do with that type of stuff.
Yeah, I just wanted clarification what was going to be happening to the old home. Is it your current thoughts, or at least thinking in the future, that you may subdivide the remainder of the property to the east for a couple more lots? Is that what you're thinking, to help you in retirement?
Yeah, when I go to do this, I want to split it into 3 pieces. So we have the existing house, the barn with the new house, and then across the street from the sewer plant on the east end would be a vacant lot that I could do whatever with in the future if I ever wanted to do something. Whether it would be sell that vacant piece or maybe you know, if I get bored, build a house there and have my other daughter move into it, or options.
The final question was, what about the other structures that we're using in the business? We planning on leaving those,
Yes.
demolishing,
Keeping them.
keeping all the existing structures, then the home and the other structures? Okay, that's all I have.
Mr. Eldridge,
I have no questions.
Ms. Burden,
Mine have been asked.
Mr. Schnabel.
Just one, what is the status currently of the outdoor storage of materials?
Well, I am open for business. I've had 1 or 2 people so far this year since January, calling and asking for a delivery of small loaded gravel.
Dirt?
Of course, that type of landscaping business, and I'm just a small guy, it's a one-man operation. And, you know, things don't really get going until the weather gets nice.
Sure.
But I've always had a full-time job, and that was always done in this, you know, evenings and weekends. So it's more of a convenience for the local people in Wonder Lake. They need a little something, you know. They want a couple 5-gallon buckets of gravel put around whatever, or a small load of dirt or mulch. Yeah, I mean.
So it's basically just you, yourself, and I, and there's no one else working there?
Right, there are no employees,
No.
just my freedom.
Last
Kind of not free.
Last question is, how long do you anticipate continuing to operate in that manner?
Well, my conditional use permit is good for like 6 more years. If this doesn't, you know, go through, I'm gonna keep doing that. And if it does go through like I hope, I don't know why it wouldn't.
That's what I'm getting at with my question.
Yeah, if I don't know why it wouldn't, I'm gonna close the doors. I mean, I have to have a stake, so I can split it up.
I just wanted to make sure we were all clear on that point. Thank you.
Mr. Jersey.
I have a curiosity. You have Wonder Lake to your south, and the village of Ringwood is in your backyard.
Yes.
Why do you want to stay in the county?
Well,
We've been with the county.
yeah, it was always,
I mean, wouldn't it be easier, cheaper just to annex to one of those 2 villages you're already neighbors of?
I don't know if it would be. I mean,
Okay, in other words, you haven't looked into it.
No,
Gotcha.
I haven't. I just, you know, I came here to the county, you know, checking on building permits and stuff like that.
See, well, on the map, it looks better if the villages don't collide, so having a county piece in between 2 towns is the way it's supposed to be. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a.
am I right, Charlie?
Never contest you.
Okay, no, I have no other questions. I like what you're doing.
I mean, I don't think it would be cheaper to go and join one of these villages. I mean, do you?
No, that was just my curiosity. There remains an unincorporated county parcel between the 2 villages. When you look on a map, that's the way it's supposed to look.
There you go.
Needlessly complicated.
Does staff have any questions?
Staff has no questions.
Okay. The staff would like to give their report.
Certainly. So the property, as we know, is zoned A1 with a conditional use for the landscape business with outdoor storage and a variance for various purposes there. The surrounding zoning to the east is E1, and to the west is A1. Municipalities to either side, so we don't have their zoning designations here. Surrounding land use is predominantly agricultural, trending towards residential. And then the future land use map does show this as developing for residential purposes. So this is consistent with that. We do have the subdivision that is under construction as noted, that is directly to the south.
Does anyone have questions for staff? Do you have a closing statement?
Yeah, sure. I mean, everything is, everybody I've dealt with up here has been helpful. And,
We're hoping to be able to do this, right?
yep.
Okay. Well, at this time, we'll close the hearing portion of the meeting and we'll move to the voting portion. Again, this is 2024-019. Applicants Stephen and Patrina Shea asking for E1 Estate District.
Madam Chairman, I move approval of the petition.
It's been moved by Mr. Eldridge. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Donner. Discussion, Mr. Eldridge.
Yes, I'm very familiar with this parcel. I go by it several times a week. This is an area right across the street is the far and away the largest development currently under construction in McHenry County. The largest actually that ever has been approved in McHenry County. The rest of the area has a great deal of estate zoned or some agriculturally zoned residential that have the characteristics of estate zoning. It is along McCullum Lake Road, which is a local arterial road. It is, as a practical matter, though technically the gentleman would be, the petitioners would be able to subdivide into 1 acre lots and have more than 5 acres. As a practical matter, given the way the parcel is laid out, is configured, getting more than 3 parcels would be extremely difficult, particularly since the gentleman has expressed that he wished to retain the barn or large pole building that's part of the property now and is, I think, a valuable structure that I think is probably more valuable to him than to anyone else. I think that it is entirely consistent with the trend of development in the area. In fact, it's probably less intensive than some possibilities. I think if he were to look into it, I think the only reason he might wish to annex would be to Wonder Lake to get access to the sewer, but having to cross McCullum Lake Road with the lines, that would be extremely expensive and may well not be a prudent activity on his part. So all in all, I see nothing but positives from this and no negatives, so I will support the petition.
Ms. Gartner.
I think that this makes a lot of sense to change this to any kind of residential, E1, fine, whatever. I really get your, don't want to move because there's too much stuff. I understand that, which has nothing to do with how I feel about this vote. I am in favor of it, so I will vote yes.
Mr. Schnabel.
I agree, I'll support the petition as well.
Mr. Jers.
I like it, and I ditto everything Charlie says, I'm behind it.
Ms. Donner.
No comment at the moment.
Mr. Kernick.
I do note that there's no members of the public present at this time, and I think that speaks volumes about this being an appropriate change.
And I agree with my colleagues. I think this is an appropriate change as well. So I'll call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge.
Yes.
Ms. Gartner.
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel.
Yes.
Mr. Jers.
Yes.
Ms. Donner.
Yes.
Mr. Kernick.
Yes?
And I'll vote yes. This will go to the county board 7-0 approving.
And
So
I
you can
feel,
plan on closing your doors soon.
I feel deeply that you have too much stuff. I happen to have 4 barns full of stuff.